When you're in Flex and you're spending a lot of time working on your lexical entries, eventually you want to know what your entries are going to look like when you publish. Now I am currently in the lexicon area and the lexicon edit view. The middle pane is a browse view, the lower right is a detail view, and in the upper right is a preview pane. This is showing me a formatted view of the entry that I'm currently on. Now if you want to see more entries than just the one you're on, you can stay in the lexicon area and this time go to the dictionary view. This shows you all of your entries formatted. Now if you want to change the way your entries look, you can go to the Configure Dictionary dialog. And my favorite way to get there is to right-click on an entry. I'm going to right-click on the headword of the entry. Pay attention to which aspect of the entry you click on. So I will right-click, I will choose Configure Dictionary View, and the Configure Dictionary dialog opens. Now you may notice that the word that I clicked is highlighted. It's a faint gray, and if I click on it, now it's highlighted more clearly. Now this dialog box has several areas. On the left is a configuration tree that shows all the fields that are available to be formatted. In the lower right are some details that will be discussed in a different video. And in the upper right is a preview pane. Now if the entry you're looking at takes up more space than the preview pane allows, you can use the scroll bar on the right to see more of it. And if you simply want to make the window bigger, you can move your cursor just until it turns to the double arrows, and then you can expand the window. Now one important aspect of the configuration tree is that it is a hierarchy. If you notice these plus signs, that means that those nodes have children or can be expanded. So I will click on the plus next to senses, and now we can see all the fields that are at the sense level. And again, I can use the scroll bar to go up. So here we see that we have a main entry with several entry-level fields, followed by the senses node, and then a lot of sense-level fields. Now, if you click on a node and you want to see which aspect of the preview pane is affected by that, you can use the highlight button. If I click on that, it highlights the grammatical info. I will unhighlight it. Now, another thing that this config tree is used for is to control which fields do or don't show. So if I wanted to hide the grammatical info, I can untick the box, and now that N has gone away. Now if I click OK, you can see that that has actually affected all of the entries. None of them have a part of speech showing. So let's go back into that entry and bring it back. This time I'm going to right-click on the meaning of that entry. I will click Configure Dictionary, and it has already opened up the senses node for me, and it has taken me to definition or gloss. Again, if I click highlight, I can see which part is the definition or gloss. Now I want to bring the grammatical info back, so I will tick that box. And again, you can see it is now back. One other thing you can do with the configuration tree is control the order of the fields that are showing. So we have our definition, and we also have an example. Let me click on example, and we can see how much is the example. Okay, I will untick that. Now, let's say I wanted the example to occur before the definition. I can select example. I can use the green arrow to move it up. And I need to click several times. And now it is above definition or gloss. And if I click the highlight button again, you can see that this is where the example is. Now let me click OK. And now you can see that it has affected this entry in the dictionary view. Now I don't really want it like that. So now I will right-click on the example and go back to Configure Dictionary. And now this time the example sentence is highlighted because that's what I clicked. But actually I want to use the parent because I had moved the entire examples node, and I want to move that down. I will click 4 times because that's how many times I clicked to move it up. And so now I will click OK, and then now you can see that the example is after the meaning again. And so those are the most very basic operations of the Configure Dictionary dialog.